Footy, what's up? How are you?
How am I? Yeah, I'm great.
You great?
Yeah, footy's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely loving footy.
Nice.
Footy's as good as it gets at the moment.
It is as good as it gets. I'm really calm because we had a bye. It's
Yeah.
nice.
Wish we had a bye.
We should have more buys.
I wish Melbourne had 20 buys this year. Legit. It's early April and our season's done.
Yeah, wow.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Do you know what's really funny? The amount of shit that came out of the club's mouths about how much they love each other. Have you noticed that?
Probably not to the extent that you guys do. Like,
Yeah.
I definitely noticed a bit in the off season, but there hits a point in the season where I stop looking at other clubs' comms and just kind of focus on our own.
Yeah.
But there definitely was at the back end of last season.
So this is a big thing with Melbourne supporters in the first month. So in the off season, Goody comes out, Track comes out, Clary comes out. They all come out.
Yeah.
Probably not less so Clary, more Gawn.
They all came
Track.
out. Wow, that's pretty modern. Yeah.
God, Jesus. Gawn, Track, Goody.
Yeah, okay.
And it was love and unity.
Yeah.
And we're getting the band back together. And now there's jokes going around with Melbourne supporters where it's like, hey guys, don't worry about it. We just lost another game, but we're top of the love ladder. Like that's what's happening at the moment, a month in, because what else have we got? So it's becoming self-deprecating. We're getting back to where we once were as a football club, walking into a ground in 2012 knowing that you weren't going to win. If you did miraculously win a game, we would treat it as if it was a flag.
Yeah.
Like Melbourne supporters are harking back to that, but it's depressing because I said it on the podcast the other day, the review show. I would rather be going into games full of expectation, full of hope, thinking that we're a chance for finals, thinking that we can do something special. And now I'm resigned to the fact that I'm getting my joy out of Gold Coast. And I'm getting my joy out of, maybe I'll watch North and see if North have a go and have a win. Like,
That's so grim.
I don't want to be there, but that's where I'm at.
Do you think that do you think because your expectations were different pre-season that has something to do with it? Because like we had a chat on our show last night here and I was joking about how, one, I really like that you guys do this on your show, that you all put out your pre-season predictions as a post.
Yeah.
But I think, 9 of 10 of you had you playing finals, didn't you? Bring that in a little bit more as well, by the way. I think
Yeah, I
we can
will.
I think go a bit closer. But like, I think that's the difference between us and you guys is that obviously the guys who are on the Sash plus like 5 or 6 other people, actually maybe 10 people I interviewed pre-season, one person said we'd play finals. And I don't know if they were being serious. So like, we're not very different to you guys, but I think it's an expectations thing, is that our expectations were, well, we're not good. It depends how bad we are. That's kind of where we're at.
So Carlton are the kings of marketing spin. And a shout out to Terry from Blue Abroad because
We used to be pretty good.
Oh, yeah.
The Zav Campbell era, we were pretty good.
Yeah,
I think we've dialed it back though.
So I think we've done a stellar job of just convincing most of the supporters that we're going to be really good again. Like they've done a super, super job of just PR spin. We're going to get it together again. We're going to channel a bit of 21. So they've completely pulled the wool over our eyes. And it's very easy. So in fairness to the Melbourne supporters,
You've still got a lot of good players
I
on the
know.
list.
And this is the point. Like Christian Petrarca, he's fit again. Clayton Oliver, he's fit again. He's happy again, which is the most important thing. And I'm happy he's happy. So it's players like that. They're fit. Oh, imagine if they get back to their best. And then it's also some of the younger guys that we saw coming through last year, like Caleb Windsor was pretty exciting. Judd McVie has come on a lot. I loved your pod with Jesse where he was like, who the fuck is this McVie guy? Like he's already better than all of our players.
He torched us that game.
And
Torched us.
so it's...
Trent Rivers as well.
Trent Rivers was amazing, but he's fallen off a cliff now because he's playing a confused role. He's gone back to the back line because we're missing players. So he trained as a full-time mid the whole preseason. He hasn't played there yet. We've got to stick with that and just put him in. But so we saw growth in players, like even Daniel Turner at the back end of last year was playing some really good footy. He hasn't done anything this year. Jacob Van Rooyen was showing great signs last year. He can't take a mark at the moment. Like, he literally cannot take a mark, the poor kid, and I feel sorry for him.
Don't worry. Ben Mackay's ready for him. He'll take a couple this weekend, don't worry.
So that's what it is, Rob. It's like there were some encouraging signs last year, even though we shat the bed last year and we were 6-2 and then we went 5-10 to end our season. We still had performances against Brisbane where we lost by 5 points. We lost to GWS by 2 points. We lost to Port by 2 points. And they were 3 of the top 4 teams last year. Yeah. So we had this blind faith and optimism that, oh, hey, we were really close against the really good teams last year. I wouldn't include Port in there, but we all know they're cowards. But it was, oh, wow, we've got something to work with here. We'll get Lever back. We'll get Track back. We'll get a fit Clary back. So I think in a very long-winded way, it is so easy to see why we all drank the Kool-Aid.
I think
we have.
But I think a lot of people who aren't Melbourne supporters did as well. Like heaps of journos pre-season had you guys in the 8, and it made sense. Like you do your pre-season ladder and you make a case for teams. It's very easy to go, well, here's 3 or 4 players who are at their best, absolute A grades the comp. Yeah. If they get back to close to that, it's an easy conversation. I mean, like, for me, Track was the one I had doubts on because it was a pretty bad injury that he had.
Terrible.
And I was like, all right, if any of those guys are going to have slow starts, I could imagine him being one of them. But some of the other guys, you're kind of like, oh, what's kind of happened? They've kind of fell off a bit.
I used the Space Jam theory. They've put their hands on the ball and it has sucked their magical powers out of them, and they do not resemble AFL footballers, some of them. Some of them at the moment are displaying VFL form. And one player that I absolutely love, everyone knows this, I love Jack Viney because he is mongrel bastard.
He's heart and soul.
Yeah, he's heart and soul and he goes hard, but he's playing VFL footy at the moment.
Right.
There are a lot of players that have enormous upside and enormous potential as well, like Trent Rivers is another one that you spoke about. He's displaying VFL level form at the moment. He's got a confusing role because he thought he was going to be a mid and suddenly he's playing in the back line again. So it's a super hard watch at the moment. However, I almost don't know if it's that important because I genuinely think we're going to have a new coach at some point later in the year, or at least, the very least, we'll have a new coach in 2026. So game plan almost goes out the door for me this year. It doesn't matter because we'll have a new coach. And then for me, it's just about growth in young players and players that are going to be there for the future, players that actually want to stay around the club.
Yes.
Like, my policy now is if you don't want to be at the club, like, get out.
Oh, I think it's a policy that all clubs should have, really.
Well, we didn't enact it last year, did we?
No.
We held a guy to ransom, effectively, and he's a very passionate player, Christian, but I don't know if he's there in 2026. And if he's not, so be it. It is what it is. If you don't want to be at this football club and pry open a new window and contend, because I don't think Melbourne are contending for at least 3 years. I think 2028 we might be back in and amongst it. If you don't want to be here for that, piss off.
Yeah,
that's my approach.
That's fair.
But the Dons.
The Dons.
Let's talk Dons. Dons footy, baby.
Yeah, Dons.
You won a game.
We won a game. It was one of the worst games of footy you'll see for 2025, I reckon.
The worst.
But we won. And yeah, I've had a few people this week being like, oh, you'll smash the D's. I'm like, no, we definitely won't. Like, we could win. I mean, I think anyone could win, but...
Do you think you'll win, just quickly? You should.
I hope so.
You should win.
We should win, but this thing, right now, we don't have polish. We have zero polish in our side.
Zero? Then what are we on? Negative 5,000?
Yeah.
We don't have any polish.
We have very little polish at the moment, and we are still a side that's very reliant on the form of, teenagers.
Can I interject there, though?
Yeah.
I thought Essendon showed the most composure I've seen in many years in that last quarter against Port.
It was great.
The little chip kicks, the lead-ups, Kako when he balked that bloke and then got
we lowered our eyes.
I was like, this isn't Essendon.
Yeah,
it was really impressive to be fair to you. That was the worst ever game I've seen, but I thought you showed glimpses of genuine quality in the last quarter.
Yeah, it was nice because it's been so many seasons of just, guys just launching on it
Yeah.
Very Dylan Shield-like football, which we'll see plenty of on the weekend. Just
yeah.
get it, bomb it, hope for the best.
That's all we do.
Thankfully, Jake Lever's not playing, so that's going to make things a little bit easier.
That's all we do.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're very similar.
Oh, we're very, very similar. I don't know. It's just it's very hard to expect us to be very good, considering that even if we had our best 22 available, I still don't think it's that good. I don't think it's that bad. Like, my preseason prediction was that we'd finish probably 9 to 12.
Yeah.
And I still think that's a possibility.
Yep.
But it's very easy for 9 to 12 to become, 13 to 16, as we know.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're not going to be 17 or 18 like us, so
No.
That's very promising for you as well.
I love it. It's so
There's
good.
a bit of an elephant in the room. Should we speak about it?
Yeah, the greatest trade Essendon's ever done. Matt Rosa, he's already in there. He's cooking up a storm, which we love. Our boy Matt Rosa. I mean, we've spoken about it before. And look, unless you guys win the spoon, I don't think anyone lost in that trade. You got two good players. We got what we needed to get Kako, and we picked a bunch of other guys, and then we get another first rounder. Like, maybe we win slightly, but like, unless you literally come last and Essendon has the number one pick and can take, Willem Dersmore or whoever it's going to be, then I don't think there's a loser, because that Lindsay kid looks great.
Amazing.
He's a gun.
Yeah, yeah. And he's exactly what we need. And when they do their comparisons, and I love how they do their comparisons, because I could be wrong here, but I vaguely remember one of the comparisons being Alex Neil-Bullen for one of the players who got picked in like the mid-20s or mid-30s.
Right.
And no offense to Nibbler, absolutely love him and wish he was still at the footy club.
You're missing him, right?
We're missing his experience and his leadership. We're missing guys like Gus Brayshaw desperately.
Yeah.
But the comparison for Lindsay was Jordan Dawson.
That's a pretty handy comparison.
And I love that, because one thing we've clearly lacked, which is a big part of the modern game, is those quarterback players. And his field kicking and his ability to beat a zone through one incredibly piercing, darting ball into the middle, taking the corridor. And I love Jordan Dawson. I reckon he's an absolute jet. And they were speaking about Lindsay being a leader as well, in the same vein that Jordan Dawson is. So that's what Lindsay could potentially end up being for us. If he ends up being as good as Jordan Dawson, we've definitely done well in this trade. And then Harvey Langford, for me, could be a Cripps 2.0. Like, he plays in a similar way. Right. And it's easy to...
Was that the one you picked first? Which one?
Yes, that was the one we picked first. We picked 6. Right. And it's easy to overindulge and over-dramatise these things and talk about these kids. But if that's what we end up acquiring, we've absolutely nailed it. And then it's on Essendon not to fuck up your pick.
Yeah, exactly. Which, look, it's a new era. Adrian Dodoro isn't there, so I have some faith that we might do well. What's great for us right now is that not only do we have a strong draft hand, but the NGA Academy is also cooking up a storm.
Oh yeah,
and we've got another 2 small forwards who could go top 20, top 25. So
Cacos.
We're just breeding cacos out there. I spoke about on the show last night. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. But they're both playing for Calder Cannons and they're both doing really well.
Nice.
I think one kicked like 4 or 5 in one of the rep games the other day. So, I mean, we're just going to have a team of small forwards one day, which will be great, because it's been a while since we've had some good small forwards.
Oh, yes, absolutely. I'm intrigued. So for Essendon, I like talking about spines. I think spines are important.
Yeah.
And your spine, let's work through it. Ben Mackay at fullback.
Yep.
Ben Mackay's going to be a good player.
He was great first half of last season.
I know
like the team was.
I know he's getting a lot of cash, but I think people need to separate that and they need to get on board. And I loved your clip, by the way, that you put up, and how you spoke about how you need to encourage him and defend him as soon as the siren goes. Get behind all the players. I thought it was brilliant. Ben Mackay at fullback, and then is it Zach Reid at centre half back?
Yeah, I guess so. You'd say Zach Reid at centre half back, and he's had a pretty tortured AFL career. I think he's played 12 games over 5 years, but he's played 3 consecutive games.
He's played 12 games.
His KPI this season is to not get injured.
Yeah.
And the great thing is that his second half against Port, where after Georgiades easily handled Mackay and then Ridley, they went, all right, Zach Reid, go play on Mitch Georgiades, and he beat him. I mean, I know like Georgiades took a hanger on him, but he was like, I'm going to play in front. I'm not going to give you the meter and do that. And he played a really good game. So he's a really exciting long-term prospect for us, sort of in that Harris Andrews type mould of a defender.
Yep.
And if we can get a good partnership going there, if Jordan Ridley can stay fit, then that part of our game looks all right. I guess it's, for me, my sort of concern is the forward line at the moment, because obviously Caddy's a long-term project for the future. Langford's a very handy forward, but you kind of want him to be maybe your third forward in an ideal situation. And then we're playing Draper as a ruck forward who has had a very good start to the season. He's had his little snap kicks on the side that he's been doing, and he's 6 and zip. It's working for him. No more drop punts for him. We're just going to stand on my side, kick across my body. And
do you know what's funny? There's something in that. So Jesse Hogan's got the very strange stutter.
Yeah.
Right?
It's bizarre.
But he's kicked 15 straight, I think. I don't think he's missed at all.
This season?
Yep. So he's got the strange stutter.
Can we check that?
Yeah, you can check it. Off you go. And then you've got Sammy Draper doing the snap around the corner from all types of distances. It doesn't matter where he is.
It's like 13 goals, yeah.
I think aesthetically it's weird but it's working, and more people need to channel it.
Yeah, and I guess for any Melbourne people consuming this who may not know, but he obviously doesn't come from a traditional footy background, played soccer, was a goalkeeper.
Yeah.
And it's very different, winding up for a big kick from a goalkeeper to try and get some air on it versus, getting your head over the footy and trying to kick it low and straight as you do with a Sharon. So look, it's working because his set shot goal kicking was very bad prior to this, and he practiced it, much to the bemusement of the supporters when he first did it. But I mean, he's silenced everyone. He's kicked 6 straight doing it.
Do you know who needs to do it for us? It's pretty obvious.
Who?
Max Gawn.
Yeah.
Max Gawn is a horrible set shot. He should just channel Sammy. He really should. Wouldn't it be great if Gawny took a grab, 30 out directly in front, and he just rips out the Sammy Draper this weekend, and he's like, you know what, big fella?
I can't see it happening.
You know what? I like what you're all about. I love the mullet. He's an interesting cat. I'm going to channel a bit of you. And Max is an interesting cat too.
Yeah, I feel like Max is this you can't teach an old dog new tricks, I think. And I think Max is at the point in his career where he's like, I'm not going to learn anything new now. I'm coasting towards the finish line here. I don't think I'm going to go, you know what's going to help my game? This. I mean, look, I could be absolutely wrong, but I think Max's time's waning, sadly.
Yeah, I think it is. And I think Melbourne need to get serious about giving him a chop out now.
Can I give you, I've told you my trade scenario, but I'll give it to the people.
Yeah.
Now, on the assumption that Cozzy wants to go, which sounds likely.
Oh, yeah, he's gone.
So I think Cozzy goes to Freo.
Oh, yeah.
Sean Darcy comes to Melbourne.
Ooh.
And maybe you get a pick in there as well.
Yep.
I think that's a win. Because it means that you can ice Gawny through his remaining time. You can put big Sean Darcy in there, who's just happy to be a big ogre in the middle, and it's a win.
What pick are we getting back?
I don't know. I don't know what picks Freo have got, to be honest.
Neither.
Maybe a late first or a second rounder or something.
Yeah. Late first, Sean Darcy for Cozzy Pickett.
It's a good deal.
I don't want to
take that.
I don't want to make an assessment on the spot. Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments.
If you're
get in the comments.
If you're a D's fan, get in the comments. Yeah, big on YouTube these days.
Yeah.
Doing my post-match videos, GMHBA, food poisoning.
You had food poisoning?
As soon as I walked out of the stadium, I munted.
What was this something you ate at GMHBA?
No, not at GMHBA. I would love to sue GMHBA, but I can't. So unfortunately,
what did you eat?
I'm not going to sue the pub either because they're a lovely pub. But I had a Palmer and it sent me sideways.
Wow.
I could not concentrate
In Geelong.
Yep.
Wow.
Pre-game. So
is this pub owned by someone who works for Triple M or no?
No, no. But this pub has been very hospitable over the journey.
Right.
To me, there's a link.
There's a link.
And we're at the pub and we'd organised a table.
Were you the only one who got sick?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It was interesting because the boys were like, "Oh, I think you're a low-key piss, mate."
Yeah.
And I really wasn't because...
You might have been.
No.
You might have been.
No, I had all of 4 beers over 9 hours and that's not going to do it for me.
No.
So, yeah, it was horrible. It was absolutely horrible. You go down to Geelong, you know you're going to lose. So I think I figured it out. I've been to Geelong 16 times.
Really?
Yeah, I've been there since 2005.
Wow. Never been.
Yeah, I've
footy game.
been down there 16 times. I've missed a couple. I missed the Zach Tui after the siren, thankfully. I was at a Deloitte ball where my wife used to work, and I was watching it on the phone out the front, and we got out to a 29-point lead. I vividly remember. And Geelong just ate into it slowly, and then they came with a rush because they're Geelong.
Yeah.
And then Zach Tui binned that one after the siren. I went back into the Crown Palladium where the ball was, and I was an absolute asshole for the rest of the night. And I just remember
It's not like you to get emotional in footy.
I know. I'm just glad I got kids now because I can actually like separate the two. But I just remember being such a dick after that. Like I was seeing red because back then we hadn't made finals for 12 years. I was so desperate for Melbourne to make finals, and that game would have put us in a really strong position if we won.
Were you filthier then, or filthier like in the last 2 years where you think you might be better than you are and you kind of get let down? What hurts more?
2023 hurts the most by a country mile.
That's the Pies prelim?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pies qualifying final and
should have won that.
Carlton semi-final.
Should have won that.
That will live long in the memory. That'll stay with me until we're good again. That'll stay with me until we're contending again and playing finals again. That just absolutely stings. I can't tell you how.
That's kind of our that's kind of our 99 prelim. Obviously for us it's different where we won the year after, whereas you'd obviously run.
Yeah, we strat.
Whereas you'd won a flag leading into that period, but this. Unfortunately, it's footy. Like it's hard to win a flag, but it's very hard to win two. Like the last 4 winners have all been different.
Sydney. Like I respect what Sydney have built. Like culturally, apparently it's amazing. They've got a great facility. But look at the Sydney Swans. They've lost 4 grand finals in a row.
Yeah,
and they climb the mountain. They get there, and then they're falling down at the final hurdle. Like the trauma I've experienced is a couple of straight sets. If you flip it on its head and you look at a team like Sydney from last year who were head and shoulders above everyone else during the home and away season, they had a wobble because they were loading. Yeah. They were training loading. Like, it was so freaking obvious. If Port Adelaide are beating you by 100 plus, who are the biggest cowards when it gets to finals.
I forgot about that game.
Like, you're training loading.
Yeah.
And then they get deep into a season. They pull one out of the bag, Isaac Heaney against GWS. That was amazing.
Yeah, it was unbelievable.
That was incredible. And then they beat Port in the prelim. They make the grand final. You'd think they're all set up to go and do it, to go and redeem themselves from 22, and then they get their pants pulled down by Brisbane. Like, that must be more painful than what we're experiencing and what we're currently going through at the moment. So
yeah, I wouldn't know what the final's like. So wouldn't know. It's
just brutal. Like, there are so many narratives. Like, St Kilda's another one I often think about. The 04 team was brilliant. They should have won in 09. They should have won in 2010.
They should have won one of those.
Like, they just should have won. Like, they were such an incredible outfit and they never got one. So footy is brutal. And then on the flip side, Rob, you could be a Hawthorn supporter, a Geelong supporter, a Richmond supporter, where it's just like, hey, you want some flags? Here you go.
Yeah. I mean, Richmond did their time. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Hawthorn and Geelong are a bit different, but Richmond fucking did their time.
They did their time. They did
their time, and they're probably going to be doing their time for a little bit now as well. So
just back to the Dons, and just on that spine question. So Ben Mackay, Zach Reid, Zach Merritt in the middle.
Yeah, but I mean, also, Caldwell, Durham, Sardis.
Awesome. I love Jai Caldwell. I told you when you got him, I said he's going to be a player.
He's a gun. He's
awesome.
Big loss. Very big loss this weekend.
Yeah. Will it help us?
I think it will.
I don't know if it's relevant because Melbourne will just see ball, get ball, and bomb ball. Like, we've
just got to get you on the outside.
We are haphazard. And people are running us off our feet now because they know that if you can get us on the spread, Melbourne are dead.
That's what really pleased me as well by that Port Adelaide game, is that how well we ran it out.
Yeah. And then forward line, back to your point about Draper and Caddy, Caddy is the second or the first tall in the future? Second?
In the future? Hard to know.
Because are you alluding to the fact that you need to go and get a gorilla key forward to complement him at some point?
I think so. Like, it's a discussion that we have on this show, is that, like, obviously right now we're running the Brian Draper tandem, and Draper's doing really well. He's really combative. He makes, like, other defenders, work for it, even though he's not the cleanest player, that he'll bring it to ground and he'll fight, which is kind of what you want. But right now in Caddy's state of development, he can't take a number one defender. If he takes someone who's, whoever that may be, he's just not quite there yet in his journey. And look, he does all right, but like go back and watch the Hawthorn game where he's dealing with Barras and Battle, who are just seasoned defenders. It was a very hard night for him.
Fucking Hawthorn.
Yeah. Whereas if Draper's playing well enough to command a good forward, or maybe you're playing Peter Wright in the team, you need someone who the opposition goes, okay, we actually have to go send this guy to him. Otherwise, it's not going to go well for us. But if we're in a position if let's say Draper got injured, as it stands right now, we don't have any more key forwards unless you bring in a debutant and could possibly happen this weekend now that Tom Edwards did his knee.
Yeah.
Old Lavs Gaming, Jaden Laverty might be roaming to the forward line, and
Lavs,
big Lav. So
you're back.
More chaos. He'll fight. That's the thing. He'll compete. He will be very, very all over the place, but he'll make him earn it. But that's kind of where we're at with our key forwards right now. It's very depleted. And Drapes has to stay fit because it means that it's easier for Caddy as well. Because if Drapes goes down whilst Peter Wright's injured, we're either going to have to debut Guerin. Maybe old Goldie will come into the side and play.
Is Goldie still playing?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's mate. This is how Essendon gets around the soft cap. We put him on the list as a player. He plays VFL, and he's the ruck coach.
Goldie's playing.
He's playing
Footy.
VFL. He had 25 in the VFL on the weekend.
Wow.
Touches, not hit outs, by the way. He had 25 touches. Bit of old gold, mate.
I didn't even know he was still playing.
I know.
I thought he'd hung him up.
Yeah.
Wow.
No.
Oh, Goldie.
Mate, he's an Essendon legend.
He used to give Gawn nightmares back in the day. He was one of the very few ruckmen that could really go with him. And I think Drake.
He was for 5 years. He was. I mean, there was maybe a year or two where he was the best ruck in the
Was
comp.
it him and Draper that touched up Gawn last time we played you at Adelaide Oval?
No, it was it wasn't. It wasn't Gawn.
No, it was Phillips.
It was Andrew Phillips and it was Brodie Grundy. And Brodie Grundy's very happy playing now, knowing that his kryptonite Andrew Phillips has retired.
Got it.
Because Flip would play one good game every season, and it was when we'd either play Collingwood and then you guys when he was there, and he would just beat him up.
He's so aggressive, Flip.
Yeah.
I actually loved watching him.
He was great.
He was heart and soul.
Lied to my face, but yeah.
What do you mean?
Well, I said to him, I was like, oh, you're going to play next year? And he's like, oh, yeah, absolutely. And then he retired like a month later. And I was like, you dog Flip, you lied to me. He might change his mind. He's a good guy.
So I agree with you. Work in progress for the Dons from a forward line perspective with those talls.
It's about the smalls for us, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about the Dons yet. I tend to agree with you that it's probably a 9 to 12 like season at the moment. For me personally,
and could slip. Like you look at,
yeah.
I know Adelaide are a good team, but you look at the way that we performed in that game, and if that's a once off, or if that's something that happens again, like 9 to 12 becomes 14, 15, 16 very quickly.
It's just hard to make a case for Essendon to be in front of a lot of teams.
Yeah, of course.
Like you could go through and rattle them off, and we're not going to. It's pretty obvious who all the good teams are this year at the moment.
Yeah. West Coast, yeah.
And it would be hard to make a case for Essendon to be a part of that finals mix at the moment.
Oh, of course.
But
no doubt.
Are you content? Are you happy with what you've seen thus far? You're seeing growth in enough players? It's early.
It's very early. Getting the monkey off the back and having a win makes it a lot better. That Adelaide game was fucked. That was so bad. One of the worst performances I've seen is put in.
That was a 90 score, by the way.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. There was just no pressure.
Yeah.
They got far over the head. They took the foot off the gas, so we got some pretty junk score to make it look better. But that was I watched the Bulldogs kick 21 goals in a row on us once, and that was at that level for me.
Wow.
It was that bad. So that still sort of hangs over the back, over the shoulder. You're sort of like, okay, is that something that's going to happen again?
Yeah.
But last season we went over. Funny, it was gathering. We went over to play Port Adelaide on the Friday night and got absolutely smashed. Rosie, Butters, Horn Francis destroyed us. Soldo played the one good game of his career against us and just killed us. And then you're like, okay, we're not very good, but then we build off the back of that and started playing some good footy. So Well, this is the thing. Expectations were so low this season that it's hard to be more let down. And if we are looking long term, knowing that we could potentially hit the draft with 2 top 5 picks, maybe 1 or 2 NGA kids who are, top 20, top 30 level players.
Yeah.
You take that because people for years, we always like, we need to rebuild. We need to gut the list. Well, it's kind of happening right now.
It's already happened.
It's already happened and it's still happening. Like there's still more guys on that list who, when their contracts are up, I feel like there's probably a fair bit of trade movement with some Essendon players this season. So
who? Give us a few names.
Who? Look, hard one for him because he's actually not contracted for next year, so I can't remember how the trade thing works with him. But I don't think Ben Hobbs will be at Essendon long term. I think we've got too many midfielders, and I think he's just down the rung at the moment. Draper may or may not stay.
True.
Like he might get a pretty handy offer from the Crows. But then again, if they do well
or
enough,
from Melbourne Victory.
Or from Melbourne Victory. If they do well enough, they might not offer him. Who else is in there? Shield won't be at Essendon next season. He might not even be playing AFL next season.
You don't have a lot of players that have played 100 plus.
No. Shield, Merritt,
Redman,
McGrath.
That's probably
of the best of 22, and then Old Gold.
Old Gold.
Old Gold in there as well.
Is that what you call him?
Well, we started saying it last night. We did someone sent in an email and they were like, can you give us a ruck tier list of all these ruckmen of Essendon since like 2005?
Yeah.
And it was grim. It was some real grim names. And Goldie was on there. I'm like, we have to refer to him as if it's as a player, he's hands down number 1. But as an Essendon player, he wouldn't be top 3.
Okay, so
that's the thing. We're a very Gresham's played 100 games as well.
You're so raw. You're so raw.
We're
still.
so raw.
This is a 3-4 year thing, right?
I think so. Yeah. Like there was a sort of comment that Brad Scott made. Like I don't think he was directly saying that this is it, but he sort of referenced that it could be 7 or 8 years before this team's actually any really serious.
That's too long though.
Oh, I know, but it wasn't like directly how he said it, but obviously there's a lot of articles and stuff about it, but. You look at the age profile of premiership teams and you look at the age profile of the guys that you think Essendon are actually going to contend with, that's kind of where it's at. Because we've seen what happened when you just keep topping up.
Yeah.
And we did that with some free agency where we got Gresham and we got Mackay. I said to one of the guys last night, imagine Essendon didn't get Ben Mackay.
Mm-hmm.
BZT left.
Yeah.
And that was it. Last season, you would have had Laverty and Kelly as your key defenders.
Oh, God.
Ridley barely played. Reid was injured. You might have given Lewis Hayes another debutant some games. So, for all the shit Mackay cops, we would be so much worse without him there right now. So much worse.
Good point. So, when do Essendon win a final? What's the year? What's the year you're targeting? When is it?
I think 2027 is possible.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's not too far
away.
There's
within in this competition, in 3 years, so much can change. I'm not talking about premierships, but
that's
so
the
much
point
can
I've
change.
been making.
So much can change in 3 years, but
yeah,
I think you kind of need to get halfway through this season and go, okay, have there been Essendon players who have taken another step of growth this year?
Yeah.
Have there guys who have just flatlined and you go, okay, this guy's not going to get any better? There are guys I think will be really good. Obviously, your Caddies, your Kakos. I think Sardis is now starting to really show some promise. He's a genuine ball winner.
Exciting.
He's a butcher.
Yeah.
Would fit in the D's really well.
Oh, yeah.
You'd love him there. But there's also other guys is this it for Perkins? Has he got another level, or is this all we're going to get out of him?
Yeah.
Will Nick Cox play AFL ever again? I don't know. Will Zach Reid become what we want him to become? There's all these sort of questions, and another good year of footy in them, we might start to see some more answers.
2027, you win your first final, and then you'd like to think 2028 onwards, you're at least contending for flag for 2-3 years.
Yeah, ideally you're pushing, you're a regular top 6 team. That's kind of what you want to be.
Yeah.
You need to crack the top 6, and then, go from there.
Took Brizzy 8 years for Fagan, but the difference with them is very quickly they got themselves into finals calculations.
Yeah.
So that was the difference. So it was 18, 19, 20, and then suddenly 21, they're right in the mix.
Yeah.
they are a contender, and they've been a perennial contender ever since, pretty much. So yeah, it's a curious one. I mean, if you win a final in a couple of years, you've been waiting so long. Essendon supporters are pretty patient, aren't they?
God. I think some of us are now. Some of us aren't.
That's called apathy.
It is.
That's not patience.
Yeah, it is apathy.
That's genuine apathy.
Yeah.
So the game this weekend, maybe we should, I don't know, wrap and talk about it. Not like actually wrap, like wrap this up. And
it's a shame we're not going. Gather Round's sick. It's so much fun.
We should be going.
Yeah.
I can't actually go.
Neither can I.
But I'm not that filthy about not going.
You've
been. You went to the first win.
Yeah, no, we rolled you guys. It was so much fun.
Yeah. And it came out of nowhere.
Sat on the hill or stood on the hill. Got blind. It was great.
It's great.
Yep.
When did you get your eyesight back?
Oh, days later. Days later.
That was a terrible joke. Dad joke. I actually need to bring this up because my father-in-law, Dave England, who loves the Sash.
Friend of the show
and a massive bomber. I love marrying into an Essendon household. There's nothing better than that in life for me.
Good choice. Good choice.
But he wanted to send in a voice note.
Did he?
Yeah, he wants to send in a voice note.
Yeah, he can. He just goes click the link.
Yeah, I know, but like
you might have to show him how to do it.
Exactly, or I might have to get Dave on this show at some point. We can do a special little segment. We'll give it a funny little name.
Dave's Corner.
Yeah. And I've completely forgotten the point I was about to make about Dave, and that's absolutely okay. I've got it back.
Okay.
So when you beat us in the first edition of Gather Round, Essendon versus Melbourne.
Yeah.
It's a Saturday night blockbuster again.
Saturday Arvo, that one? Or was it day one?
Oh, it's the day one.
The day game, yeah.
And now we've got the night game.
I know.
We are a genuine Gather Round blockbuster.
Whew.
It's huge. The AFL will be wrapped because the game before, I think, is Carlton and West Coast.
Yeah, well,
so they've done well.
So on Adelaide Oval, they've got 14th versus 17th and 16th versus 18th.
Brilliant.
While I'm pretty sure it's like
Saints and
second versus fifth or something at Norwood.
Yeah.
Like
excellent. Yeah. No, grassroots. They're really getting stuck into their grassroots footy and they're putting the big games out there.
Have you seen Norwood though?
No, I can't remember.
It's got a fucking right angle, the pitch. There's no wing. It's like a fucking basketball court. That's
a Sandful club.
I know it's a Sandful club.
Sort it out.
Yeah.
Actually sorted out Norwood. But when you beat us in the family WhatsApp with all the Englands, all the in-laws, they're just like...
Dave's teeing off.
Anthony's getting involved. Doesn't even love footy that much, but he's going me. He's made his daughter a Hawthorn fan, which is a very wise choice because Michaela, sister-in-law, big Hawks fan. So what a life that would be. And they're all teeing off, and I'm like, I hate losing to Essendon. And I just wrote back and I said, this is just a blip in our journey this year, and I guarantee that we'll finish top 4 and you won't even make finals.
And it was all downhill from there.
And what happened?
You were shit after that.
No, we finished top 4. 2023.
Oh, sorry. I'm getting my years confused.
I know.
No, you're right. Sorry. Last season.
I had the last laugh. So...
Well,
I was copying. I know. Well, I didn't really have the last laugh.
Carlton and Collingwood had the last laugh, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, Braden Maynard had the last laugh.
Yes, he did.
Because he ended up ending the career of my favourite player.
Yes.
So that was great.
And
then losing to Carlton after kicking 9-17. So maybe Dave England and eventually had the last laugh because we went out in straight sets again. But I distinctly remember walking back from the pub after losing to you lot, and I was so filthy, and they were giving me shit. So. Do you know what? There's this little part of me that wants redemption for the first time you beat us in the blockbuster of Gather Round at Adelaide Oval. And we do it all again this weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
You'll smoke us.
I don't know, man. Like, you guys have had a lot of heat put on you in the media. It's like you guys in Carlton are copping it.
It doesn't matter.
But surely there's a response.
What's the response? We can't kick. We're the most unskilled team in the league.
Here's my question for you. Do you think there is still a big enough portion of the playing group who would put in for Goody? Like they still? Do you still think there's enough players at the club who want Goody to stay that are willing to fight for him, or do you think there's there's too many players who are saying check out, that there can't be a response?
It's a big question.
Yeah.
It's a loaded question.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's necessarily about playing for Goody.
Yeah.
I think
Play for the jumper, for the heart.
I think they all like Goody. I think it's just simply the players are so confused with this new game plan that we're trying to play. I think it's as simple as this. Melbourne are trying to modernise their game plan to get up to speed with the rest. Max Gawn essentially said that yesterday when he was on Triple M doing his normal slot during the week.
Okay.
And he said, we're only just starting our new offensive plan now. And I was like, oh, red flag.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah.
What have you been doing for the last 4 or 5 years when all we see is the same script every week? The bomb it in long, the haphazard approach, the no connection in our forward half. Every single media pundit and commentator speaks about Melbourne's lack of forward connection.
Right.
It happens all the time, yet we've been doing the same thing every single year. And Max Gawn comes out yesterday and he starts speaking about, we're only just starting our offensive game plan now, and references GWS and Hawthorn and they're a little bit more advanced than us. What the fuck have we been doing? Clearly we've had problems with our forward half connection and our avenue to goal, and you're telling us we're only just starting now. And I say that respectfully because I love Max Gawn. Max Gawn's my favourite ever demon.
He might be the greatest ever demon.
Exactly, and I absolutely love Max. But that was alarm bells to me yesterday. He also went on to essentially say this as well, I'm paraphrasing, if this is going to be one of those years where I just have to learn. So he said when we were crap in 2019 and when we've had some dark years, because he came through some shit with us.
Yeah, of course.
He said, I've learned something in every single year. And he's like, if this is going to be one of those years, he's already conceded it's going to be one of those years. Yeah. That's the captain of our football club.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying there is I don't necessarily...
Can I say this is music to Essendon fans' ears?
I know what this is. This is a 5-win season.
Yeah.
I know exactly what this is.
5-win season.
We'll finish 17th.
Oh.
So
pick 2.
Yeah.
Ooh.
You're going to get pick 2. So I don't actually think it's about Goody. I think it's we've held on with too many players for too long. We can't modernise our game plan. We're confused with what we're doing out there.
Yeah.
And
is Choco still there?
Yeah, he is. Yeah. He is. It'll eventually click at some point later in the year. We'll win a few games. But it's not about giving us hope for the next season, because I think there'll be an announcement towards the end of the season. We'll have a new coach in 2026. I think this is how it'll play out. I don't really think it's about Goody, and I think it's a moot point about game style this year, because we'll have a completely new game style next year when we've got a new coach. So that's where I've come to.
Interesting. We'll do some just quick fire questions for the game on the weekend.
Go.
Who's the Essendon player in your eyes that if you who's the player that worries you the most on the weekend? I mean, it's a pretty obvious answer with Essendon most of the time, but
I actually think it's Sam Draper.
Interesting.
As a forward.
Okay.
Because we have really...
So May to Draper, Petty to Caddy?
Oh, Petty will get murdered.
Or Petty to Laverty.
Petty's been...
Assuming he plays, obviously. I'm just assuming that.
Yeah. Harrison's one of our worst players this year. Easily. He's been shocking. He could actually get dropped.
You could have got 2 first rounders for him.
I don't know if it's first 2 rounders. I think
what did Adelaide offer? Wasn't it they offered something big, didn't they?
Yeah, I think we could have got a first rounder.
Right.
I think 2 first rounders was a bit of mayo, but who knows? We'll never know. Probably should have got rid of him. It is what it is. But I fear that Sam Draper up forward, given how bad we've been airily and how easily the ball is bounced out. So in transition, teams are just going coast to coast against us.
Dry weather. It's going to be dry.
Yeah, I think he could have a field day. I think he could kick 3 or 4 up forward. So I'm worried about Sam Draper. Okay. Some Melbourne supporters might think that's silly because maybe they don't rate him because he had a disappointing year last year.
Yeah.
But I think given the fact that our defence is under so much pressure and we get cut to ribbons and run off our feet, it makes it so easy for a guy like him to just lead up into space, take some grabs.
He's got a good mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you tag? Do you have a tag now that Neil Bullen's gone?
Well, Max Holmes said we don't tag on the weekend.
Right.
Did you hear that?
No, I didn't.
Came out on 3AW and Matty Lloyd, funnily enough, asked him a question about the Sparrow tag that he got.
Right.
And he's like, oh, yeah, that was really funny because Melbourne think they tag, but they don't really know what they're doing.
All right.
That's
Zach Merritt, 30 in a goal. Put it down, everyone.
That's what he said.
That's good to know.
It was pretty disrespectful, but also I kind of didn't mind it because this is where we've got ourselves to. We're not respected at the moment. We've lost our aura. We need to rebuild it all again. For a hot minute there, we were respected. Like it's gone.
Yeah, right.
We have to earn back respect in the next few years because Max Holmes, like, these guys suck.
Wow.
Pretty much. That's what you said, Max.
Wow.
And that's okay. I'm kind of leaning into it. So I think Zach Merritt, of course, I love Zach Merritt. Like, you know how much I love Zach Merritt.
He's a gun.
And there aren't many Essendon players that I like, but I love Zach Merritt. Like, everyone loves Zach Merritt.
Yeah.
He's unbelievable. He's a freak, and he's put in so many hard yards. And if you guys are ever going to win a final, it'll probably piss me off, but I'll be so happy for him if he's part of it. I'll be so happy for him.
Like, it was pretty sad that Heppel didn't say one.
Yeah.
But yeah, you'd think Zach deserves one.
He gets his Nathan Jones moment.
Yeah.
Like 2018 elimination final when we beat Geelong, and I hate Geelong. Like, Geelong are probably top of my list. Yeah. And he had his little moment.
Yeah.
He had his little moment. He kicked a goal at the start of the fourth quarter, and we all knew we were home. And he does the double cobra, and it was just like, it was amazing. And I hope Zach Merritt gets that. I genuinely mean that.
Okay. It's funny, like, it used to be a really easy question, this, for Melbourne, who's the player? It's always Gorney.
Yeah.
But I've watched, from what I've watched of you this season, he just doesn't look the max. He doesn't, like, it's gone from being Max, Daylight, and then the rest of the ruckman in the comp.
Yeah.
Now it's like Max isn't number one anymore.
No.
And there's a battle. Who's on it? Is it TDK? Is it Jerry? Is it some of the other guys who are around there?
You called him Jerry.
Jerry? How do you say it? I don't know. Jerry? I don't know.
No,
Cherry? How do they
Cherry.
Is it Cherry?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can call him Jerry from now.
Jerry.
That's cool.
Tom Jerry.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Love
anyway.
it. No, you're right. He's not.
He's not the guy.
Man
He's not the guy. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, who's the guy that worries me the most?
Could you pick anyone?
Like,
Track.
Yeah, Track's one. I feel like we have struggled to. He's a sort of player that we kind of struggle to deal with. So
Clary's played okay.
Track's played okay. So sort of thing. If Track drifts forward, it might be a Redman who goes to him.
Yeah.
If it's Jackson Pryor, then Track's going to kick 5. The way that he's been playing in the guts. Obviously, knowing Caldwell's not there makes things a bit difficult for us. Like, we pondered, like, could Will Setterfield come into the team? Because he did a job on Clary a couple of years ago and played really well on him. And he's a similar ilk to a lot of these Melbourne mids where he's big and strong, but he's slow.
Yeah.
So you're not worried about him getting burnt for speed because the other guy's going to sort of beat his pace. The two guys that I think are usually very reliable for you guys, and one's an old guy, one's a young guy, but it's Windsor and Langdon because they were awesome against us last season.
I said that.
It's obviously different game. Dersman will be playing, which is great, and he's fit at the moment. Jones has been really good as well. So, plus, like, Archie Roberts spent some time on the wing. Hopefully,
I like him.
Hopefully, Sardell Hawley starts. He had a really awesome cameo against Port. So, they're two guys that if we are trying to run you off your feet, get the ball out wide, beat you on the spread, they're the guys I think could have a big factor in stopping that happening.
I'm going to pump my tyres up. Last year when we did a preview, I said that our wingers were the key.
Yeah, and they were.
And they smoked.
Yeah.
Absolutely smoked.
And Petty in the ruck, apparently.
So weird.
Yeah. Is he or chop out ruckman?
No.
Van Rooyen.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. But Tommy Fullerton should come in for his first game for the club. He's been dominating at VFL level. He can actually mark the ball.
Over who would he play? Replace?
Maybe Roo.
Really?
Yeah, Roo's completely out of
who are your key forwards? So Frida?
Oh, don't get me started. I'm happy we haven't spoken about him.
Frida?
Bailey Fritsch, Daniel Turner, Jacob Van Rooyen.
Turner, that's right.
Jake Melksham.
Oh, Milkshake. Is he still there?
Milkshake's still playing.
Good on him.
Yeah. So
we still love Milkshake.
Oh, I love Milkshake.
He's a great player.
Been a great servant.
Great player.
Michael Hibbard's one of my favourite servants under the...
Big Pig.
Yeah, Big Pig under the Goodwin era.
Yeah.
Love him. So thanks for those two.
Yeah, we miss him.
I think there's one player before we do predictions and get off this set.
Yeah.
There's definitely one player you should be worried about. Come on. You have to be worried about him. And I think he's the type of player that could maybe turn the game for us, maybe give us a chance of winning. Because I think it's 80-20.
What part of the game is he?
I think you would win 8.
Where does he line up?
You would win 8 of 10 games if we played you at the moment, but I think there's a glimmer that we could maybe just get you.
What part of the ground does he play? Give me a clue.
He's electric and he's leaving our club.
Cozzy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why is he only just came back last week, his first game back from suspension, of course, because he's always suspended.
Yeah. Once a picket, always a picket.
Oh, seriously. Like, imagine if Byron played in this era. He wouldn't play.
No, he wouldn't play.
He wouldn't get a game.
He'd be hung out to dry in the media every single week.
He wouldn't get a game in this era.
Lord
Byron.
Byron.
God, he was good.
The best.
But we got the fat version, which was funny, but that's
Anyway.
okay. I love Byron. So Cozzy comes back last week. He has 22, kicked 0-3, missed a few chances. Could have been a different night. Had the most score involvements for us.
Right.
We look so much more dynamic forward of centre.
And he was great last year as well.
Yeah, and he still mucked up a few of his kicks going inside 50, but he also hit up a few targets and he gives us a little bit of polish and dynamism that we've been missing. So Cozzy's the one for me. And also Cozzy's the one for me because he's only just had his first game back. So he shouldn't have too many niggles, too many knocks.
He should be fresh.
Like super fresh and raring to go.
And our small defenders have been garbage.
Yeah.
Prize, if it wasn't for injuries, Pry wouldn't be in the team.
Yeah.
And Andrew McGrath is lucky he's the vice captain because he's had a very, very bad start to the year for his standards.
Yeah.
And the thing we always speak about where he's good is he's good at locking down small defenders. So it'll be. I assume that's the matchup, and I think
plays in the middle more now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, because we kind of do it with Gresham and Merritt, where one pushes up and they swap, and you sort of can lose him in traffic.
Yeah.
When he drifts forward, McGrath kind of has to go with him because I think he'll run rings around Pryor or anyone else.
It'll be half and half.
Yeah.
Midfield and forward time for
Yeah.
Cozzy. Cozzy's probably the key for us. If he can have a big game, if he can kick 3, 4, 5, set a few up, we might be a chance. And then the other thing is if Bailey Fritsch can just magically become a footballer again, we also might be a chance because he's kicked 1-7 from 11 shots so far this year.
Wow.
And he is wildly out of form, like Van Rooyen. Turner hasn't done much. Melksham hasn't done much. Like, we are so low on stocks from a performing perspective at the moment with our forward line. It's a bit like the stock market at the moment.
Yeah.
Like, that is just the reality of the situation. We kicked 46 points last week, and the 2 weeks before that, we kicked 60 points.
Yeah.
Our avenue to goal has been almost non-existent. It has been atrocious. Cozzy, key for me. I think if we can get Rivers back into the midfield, that'll do a lot of good for us.
I think that'll help. He was so good last season against us.
And then if there's a world where Judd McVie is ready to come back into the lineup, that is another thing that can bolster us. A lot of Melbourne's chances of winning on the weekend is, I think it has to be starting well because we're so low on confidence. I think we need to get a lead in the game that gives us belief. And then
if we jump here,
And then we've played sport before. Everyone's played, well, most people have played competitive sport before. If you're a shit team, like I was for the Berrigan Saints, if you're in a game and it's halfway through a third quarter and you might have a 2-goal lead, watch our players just suddenly start to become insanely desperate because they want their first win of the season.
Yeah.
So I think for Melbourne, it's imperative if they make a good start in this, we take a lead into halftime. If we had a lead at 3-quarter time, I think you could almost guarantee, despite the fact that our last quarters have been putrid, you see a Melbourne that is desperate for a result. Yeah. So that's the type of situation we need to get ourselves into. If Essendon are leading at 3-quarter time by 2 or 3 goals, it's game over. Okay. I have no confidence whatsoever that Melbourne have the ability to A, run out a game, and the will and the want to win a game of footy at the moment, and B, our avenue to goal, it's not there.
Yeah.
And
I think the thing, from what you said there, I think the thing that works well for you is the fact that some of these teams who've come off a bye have started a little bit slow. Yeah. So I could definitely see a scenario where you guys go early.
We have to.
I'll give you some predictions to wrap up. It's going to be low scoring, both sides under 70 points. It's going to be the worst game of the weekend, and it'll be a draw.
A draw?
Yep. It's going to be 68-68.
It's almost a win for us.
Yeah.
I mean, it's 2 points on the board.
Hey, Points are points. Take them.
Got 0 at the moment. I'll take 2.
It's going to be absolute garbage, and everyone's going to go, why was this on Saturday night?
That'll be the commentary.
Yep.
I'm going to tip Essendon by 25 points.
That's nice of you.
Yeah. 25 points.
It's reckless. Very reckless. But
Goody will come out in the presser and tell us it's all good. We're working towards something. We're getting there, boys.
You sound really happy with your football club.
Trust the process. We're 5-14 in our last 19 games.
Nice. I think we're something like that as well.
So how can I be bullish and hopeful? And yeah, it'll all be about learnings and
Don the rebuild, baby. Don the rebuild. Do what we're doing. Don the rebuild.
Kind of done a mini rebuild as it is. We just need to get rid of players that don't want to be there, get some more picks in, trade some mature age players as well. Go to the trade period, see what we can get. It's hopeful. It's wishful thinking when you don't have a home base.
Yeah.
But hey, if you want to come train at a public park and in a random suburb of Melbourne, like be my guest. So you can tell, like, I'm pretty fed up at the moment. And I actually, just as an aside, everyone knows this though, if you're a Melbourne supporter, the most important thing Melbourne need to do in the next few years is lock down Caulfield. It is everything to our identity, our brand, what we can try and build in the future. We have to get it done.
Yeah.
Because I've been told by multiple people in positions of power, that players are genuinely knocking us back because of the facilities and the setup going between two homes. It's a fucking joke, and it needs to end.
That's fair.
So
That's fair.
I'll leave you on that note, because I've been to the hangar, mate. It's sick.
Yeah, sunny old Tullamarine.
But you've got a great
It's always sunny in Tullamarine.
You've got a great facility.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Like, it's awesome.
It's unreal.
Like, I want that. Please, Melbourne, we need that. And
Urban Surf's right next door. You can go for a quick surf and then go kick your Sharon and then catch a flight out of there.
it's sick. We'll fall so far behind the 8 ball, or further behind the 8 ball, if we don't get that sorted in the next year or two. So yes, the footy's important. Yes, we want to win games, but for the love of God, just lock that down. But yes, Essendon by 25 points.
Yep.
And then who have you got next week?
West Coast.
Where?
There.
Oh.
Yeah, danger game.
Could be their first win.
Yeah,
Feels like
game.
you just slip up.
Oh, yeah, no, real danger game.
So you could be conceivably 3-2.
Potentially going into Anzac Day.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
No De Goey, no Schultz. That helps.
That's great.
Yeah.
For your sake, just for you,
Yeah.
I hope you're 3-2.
Yeah.
For your sake.
Yeah.
But I also just want to have a win on the weekend and remember what that feels like.
It's nice. It is nice. Let's wrap it up there. Don't know if I said anything of any importance during the show, but it was fun. Fun to have a chat. Bit of a gas bag. I feel like you did most of the talking, but you've got stuff to say about your club, whereas we're just apathetic and just hanging out.
I don't know.
Hanging out for the draft. So.
I'm ready for some apathy in the next couple of years.
Kako 3 goals. That's my call.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and everything else I said. 68 all. It's a draw. It's a garbage game of footy.
Enjoy.
It's an absolute stinker. Have fun, everyone.
Love
Bye.
it.